but plus this, so happy to invite a real television and film star.
A star!
Into our studio, Rodney To.
Oh, that old bag.
That old bag of tricks. Hi, Queen.
Hi.
Oh
How
wait,
are ya,
I'm not supposed
Queen?
to. I'm not supposed to out you, right?
No, you can. I mean,
Yeah.
Have you?
Don't out Rodney.
Google image me. You're fine. Trust me.
Speaking of Google
Speaking of
image,
Google.
do you know that when you Google Rodney To and Rosewood, there's a bunch of scarves. I think we have a picture of it. There's a bunch of scarves, and then a
Scarves?
picture of you, and then more scarves.
What is that
It
about?
is
What are you
so
even talking
hilarious.
About?
No, wait, they're gonna put it up. There's a picture of you.
There's
Okay.
a picture of
And
it
I
right
so
now.
I was trying to find pictures of you online so that we could show people
Because
who you are.
you've been in many
Like,
things.
you're
You've
so
been
famous.
in.
Well-
You've been on Modern Family and Parks and Rec.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, that's you on Parks and Rec.
Thank you.
And then
Hi,
there's
Typhoon.
one of you. Yeah, there's you on
That's
Modern Family.
Yeah, it took like-
Hilarious.
It took like 7 hours to get in that getup.
I
Oof.
mean, gorgeous,
High
by the
corset.
way.
Yeah.
Valerie
I'm fine.
Bertinelli
I'm
much.
fine. I'm glad you found
Okay,
that stuff.
there is where it is, where you Google Rodney To Rose. You can see what I put in there, and
That's
literally that was what came up.
Amazing.
Images.
I had no idea.
Rodney To, your scarf.
But
You
by
are
the
scarf.
by the way, did you know it is very difficult to Google me because my last name is a preposition. So oftentimes, so
Yeah.
just say, because often it's like Rodney to the store,
I'm gonna-
and then it's like you find out that it's like someone from like,
Blocking your entire face, but I don't know.
Oh.
I don't think it makes a difference.
There you go. We need to see the moneymaker.
Yeah,
Rodney.
we want to see your gorgeous face.
We're used to seeing you with something in front
Center.
of it, waving in front of it. But
yes,
we
this
like you in
this
the
oh
clear.
this old thing, this Monday morning right here. First of all, also before we continue on with this interrogation, I just wanted to say congratulations to you guys. This is amazing what you're doing.
you.
What you guys are doing is, it's extraordinary. It's fun, but it's important. So I'm really thrilled, and I'm very proud of you. And I mean, I've known Kathy for years now, and it's a no-brainer. So I'm glad that you guys are doing this. I'm very, very proud of what
Thank
you're
you.
doing.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Coming from you, that means a lot. Because Rodney is an activist in his own right. You work a lot with getting Asian actors visibility. And
Yeah.
can you talk to us a little bit about your work with that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working. It's interesting. When I started in the business as an actor back in I came in. I was that guy, I came in. I went to a Jesuit university that was, predominantly Caucasian. No offense to anyone out there.
Jesuits?
I'm so
Caucasian.
offended that you called me white. How
So
dare you?
I kind of never, I was sort of a little bit of a product of that environment, getting into the business. I never really thought of myself as an Asian actor, So I came in to New York thinking, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be the one who changes things. Ugh, whatever, they're complaining about Flower Gem Song. Who needs it? You know what I mean? Oh, that's adorable. They're doing Miss Saigon again. Cute. I'm going to be on TV. And then you realize very quickly, you're humbled very quickly I'm like, this is the community and this is the group of people that that not only sort of like accept you, but these are the people that I want to be defined by. This is the group I want to be defined by. There's no shame in that. And there's a lot of really wonderful work, and there's a lot of really wonderful artists, extraordinary artists, and extraordinary work that I want to be associated and defined by. So why would I ever consider disassociating myself with it? I want to do nothing but sort of be a part of it. And then I continue to do a lot of work with like the Asian theater companies in New York, like Mayi and Natco and Pan Asian and all of these really wonderful. And I met so many of my wonderful Asian American colleagues who are still really close friends to this day. And I want nothing more as I get older in this business, but to let those people, to let the world know that these people exist and
Yeah,
these people are
listen,
out there.
I know. We hosted your birthday party at our apartment when we first got here, me and my two roommates, and literally it was 80% Asian. I only knew about 2% of the people who were there, and I felt like it was like an entire community that I never would know at all unless you had introduced me. I mean,
Yeah.
things are so segregated out here. I will say also that Rodney and I think we might have been at the same dance call for Footloose.
Yeah, where I busted my finger.
Oh, yeah, where I totally got sent home to come to the movement call
Oh.
later.
He just
Rodney,
pumped
that
himself down.
works.
That does work.
That works, Rodney.
It works.
Rodney's a petite model.
I'm smoke and mirrors, ladies and gentlemen. Smoke and mirrors. I always used to tell people, I go, back at like, was it like 15, 20 years ago when Abercrombie and Fitch was in and I was really fit, I would like the tighter the t-shirts, the better. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah. I was that dude who like wore tight t-shirts and was really showing off my body. Now that I'm a man of a certain age, I still have all of those t-shirts, but I use them as Spanx underneath my clothes. Truly. So if any of you men out there or women want to know about where you can get sort of inexpensive Spanx, because they're very expensive, you can go to Abercrombie and Fitch and get the small.
There you
Get
go.
any of those, get any of those like gay fit clothes, and they will. Yeah, they will.
I
be
wonder if
fine.
I wonder if that could work for us. No, I don't think so. I have too much going on here.
No,
not?
I absolutely.
I don't want this to be Spanxed.
And by the
I
way,
want
I
this
don't want to
to
You
give.
don't want this to be
I want
squished.
this
You want
to
these
be-
lifted and
Yeah,
free.
and yes.
But the rest of it. No.
Yeah.
I will say that you got the experience of being a woman like we saw in those pictures of you being on Modern Family. It was the Halloween episode, and you came just like as like a princess, and the daughter of Cam and what's the other character's
Cam and
name?
Mitchell.
Thought that you were her real mother. So it's a hilarious episode, and everyone should go watch it. But talk to us about how you felt after being sucked in, and
I mean,
all that
I've
stuff.
always known. I've always known that like the business is difficult, and then as I've gotten, as I've sort of like gotten like super acquainted with all the other facets of the industry, as I've gotten grown in this industry, I've realized just how much more difficult it is for women in this industry. It is. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here with two wonderful women who are artists as well, but it is incredibly difficult. And then on top of that, to not be conventional, you know what I mean? Conventional, and
Right.
I don't even like using
We
that
often say that
term.
we're the same type.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Rodney and I could go in for the same part very easily.
Oh, it wouldn't
The way
You mean
Hollywood-
Asian woman?
nothing.
She kind of read you.
She's here Thursday through Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Please tip your servers.
Yes.
Yes.
An Asian woman.
It's very difficult for women in this business, and I've always known that. I've always sort of been on the outside. Well, this is the first experience where I actually they were like, I got called to that set really early in the morning, and it took about the makeup took a long time, but just getting into the garb itself, because they cinched my corset to a 28-inch waist. I do not have a 28-inch waist.
Yeah.
Have you
Not
ever
whatsoever.
dressed in drag before?
No, well, I mean, I did and butterfly. So but I wouldn't consider that necessarily
Kimonos
drag.
gives like more.
Yes, and it was a lot more forgiving. But this was they cinched it to a and so like just everything that has to be done and to be and
Yeah.
also it's
Just
incredibly
existing is hard.
Yeah,
Just
it
breathing
is.
is
Just
hard
breathing
in a
is hard
corset.
for-
it's
yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sitting down's impossible. Welcome to Wicked, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
4 years of my life, like all of my costumes were corseted. I used to have a garment that we called the medieval torture device. That was they put boning in a Spanx, full body Spanx. So they put boning in it, and then I wore a corseted garment over that.
Ouch.
And I was like,
No
"What?"
wonder you
I
have
was
stomach
like,
issues. Your stomach's like, I can't breathe.
I was like Frankenstein. I'd be like laying down on things, but it'd be like this. Like,
Oh my God.
I had to like sit down like that. Like I'd be like.
So it's like
That's so horrible.
I know, but it was like
instead
being
of
a
like
lady.
binding your feet for like Asian people, you like bind your body for
did.
music,
I did.
Broadway
For
musicals.
real.
Well, that's
real.
also one of the reasons why we wanted you to direct our first piece, because you get what that thing is. You get the
Thank you. I'm very
insensitive things
excited.
people say to you and the comedy in that. Do you know what I mean? Like, most of what Rodney and I bonded over as friends when we first met were like the ridiculous, stupid things that people say to you that you have to laugh about.
I mean, it's so interesting. Like I have experienced. I mean, nothing surprises me in this industry anymore. I mean, I've gotten to, like I'm too Asian for whatever, or I'm not Asian enough for whatever. So, and then people not whatever based on the way I look, not knowing necessarily that I'm Asian. So they say a lot of like really ridiculous things that are really insensitive. So these are all this is all just served me in my artistic life and my comedy and stuff like that, which is why I'm excited to jump into something like this, because it's so like meaty with with all of this stuff that we've experienced
Yeah.
for the better part of the past
Yeah,
like
and we
20
get
plus
to
years.
express it, which is nice. Well, we're going to come back and we're going to talk some hot topics with you. And also, like, obviously find out the things that you're really caring about in the world,
Yes.
too. So we'll return with Rodney To after this.
Who?
We're back with Rodney To here in the studio.
Yeah.
Not Rodney To.
Not Rodney To. It does look like Rodney To.
And no, I am not Alec Mapa, and no, I am not Rex Lee, and no, I am not Nico Santos.
I know. It's a rough life. It's like everyone thinking that I'm every fat brunette that exists in the world. That's not just TV, by the way. That's like every person. You're like my cousin who just is big and has dark hair.
Yeah.
Or they thought that you and I were twins.
That's my favorite.
Oh, when was this?
We literally went to do a taping for something, and a guy was like, "Are you guys twins?" And inside I wanted to go, are you saying that because we're fat? Is that what you're saying?
Oh my God.
But I didn't. I was just like, "Oh, thanks."
We were like, oh my God, what a compliment. I was like, I'm so much older. That's so great.
But really, we were like,
And that's coming out soon, hopefully.
Hopefully.
We can't wait to hear about that. We'll talk about that when it's ready.
yeah.
When we bake that cake. We have a lot going on, Rodney To.
I'm a little distracted with all
Yeah.
these cameras.
You are. You love looking at all your
Yeah.
screens.
Yeah.
Like,
Checking in the
it's like
monitors.
West Hollywood tickets. You know what I mean? Like, those traffic light cameras are everywhere. You don't know where to.
They're coming to get you.
Yeah.
Hilarious. So, we just got finished with, I can't even talk, with New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
And I know that you love a runway.
I love a runway.
You do.
It
You
is-
love a walk.
I did
Very
hear
important.
about a certain walk that you have.
Oh, it exists. It will not be on camera.
Oh,
Ooh, look at that.
why?
Oh, I should have put something under my eyes.
You're so dumb.
It's
Well,
yeah.
why don't we capture it later? We
Yeah,
might want to
we won't
capture it.
We'll capture it later on a Facebook Live, or
You guys,
maybe.
I can't believe
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. You want to know how I got really, really super? I can't believe my family's. gonna
Just
be
tell
so
us.
weird.
Oh, just
So
tell
when
us.
I was
say
in
it.
college, at Marquette University, I was looking. I was like, you know what? I want to earn some money while I'm in college. So I was approached by a woman who ran the John Casablancas School of Modeling, or like the John Casablancas scam
Yes.
of modeling, and it was out in Waukesha, Wisconsin, which is a drive away. And I borrowed my friend's car, Elkie, if you're out there and watching. And I borrowed my friend's car, and they initially hired me on. They were like, "Have you done commercials?" I was like, "Yes, never done a commercial." And they were like, so I started teaching commercial acting at the John Casablancas School of Modeling, right? I never done a commercial before, but I just assumed it was like, oh, don't cover the brand while you're drinking a soda, right? Or like don't eat with your mouth open, or like make sure you look have delicate hands when you wash your face. So I just started doing all of that stuff, right? Making all of that stuff up.
You're
And
just watching commercials being like, oh, note, mental note.
Oh, I didn't even watch commercials. I mean, I didn't have a television when I was in college. I just was like, so I started making that up. So there was that. And then my class became so popular. I was making like, I think I was like at the time, I was making like $12 an hour, which at the time, back
It was
in
like
the,
a lot of
was
money.
a lot of money,
You were
right?
like, I'm super rich.
Right.
$12 an hour.
I mean, I think like
Exactly.
minimum
Yeah.
wage back then was like $6,
Yeah.
right? So back in the days of yore.
You were rolling in it.
So my class became so popular, they were like, hey, have you ever taught runway? I was like, oh, it's funny, I did a runway show. And they're like, really? I was like, yes, for Benetton. Never did a runway show.
Just a lot.
Oh
I
my
just
God,
needed,
just
I needed to
straight
get
up
myself.
lies.
I needed to give myself a little bit of credibility because I wanted them to give me that class because for me I wanted that
Because
money, right?
$12 an hour.
Come
Right.
on.
Right.
I
So
mean-
I literally made up the entire curriculum. It became the most
Yes.
popular class at John Casablanca School of Modeling it wasn't something like in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, the Milwaukee area. And I taught not just male modeling, but female modeling. Runway.
Of course you did.
And I took all these dance terms that I've taken in a dance class, and I turned them into modeling terms. Like first position
it.
was open T stance, you know what I mean? Or third position was like open T stance, and then like fourth position was, like that's how males do a T stance. I made up all of this stuff.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, okay, you guys, we had a runway in the class, and anyways, I became obsessed with it, and so therefore.
Yeah, I can kind of get that feeling since you were so willing to lie
Oh,
in order to
gosh.
get the class.
Yeah, if
going.
you learn nothing from this interview, lie to get a job.
You're hilarious. I didn't even know that story and I've known you for so long. That's
Yeah.
so funny. So, And you showed me that Prodigy girl, which I still can't get that video out of my head of that little teeny tiny girl who
Devana.
was amazing. Yeah, but so Lane Bryant has a new ad campaign out, and it's amazing.
It's one of the sexiest things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
It's
and
so gorgeous. I love it.
it's incredible.
I said to Kathy, I don't think that we can show it. And she thought I said, I wish that they made a show of it.
And I started
and then
laughing.
she was laughing, and I'm like, "What are you talking? Why is that funny?"
And I said, because you want a whole show of just that ad.
and then I was like, "Oh, that is kind of brilliant," but no, that's not what I said.
And basically, it tackles trolls and being newly trolled.
Oh my God, we
understand
were
that feeling.
super trolled. Did you know that we were
Yes, I
super
was
trolled?
Super
It
trolled.
was super trolled. It was unbelievable. So
trolled.
we have some pictures of the
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
And
Which
they're
has
pretty
Danielle
great.
Brooks
Okay,
on it
so
from Orange is the
this
New
is
Black.
this is
Extraordinary.
Ashley Graham, and the troll said, "You ruined Sports Illustrated," and she was like, "No, I'm pretty sure I made it better for a lot of people." This is
Gabourey.
my favorite. Gabourey says, "How did you get through the door?" And they show her literally like open the door and sashay through. Oh my gosh, it's the best ever.
It's really cute.
And then which one was this girl?
Oh, this is, I
Al-
have it,
'cause-
Candace Huffine.
Yeah. Okay. So she says, "Did you see those rolls?" And then they show her later being like, "Welcome to the bakery." I love it. And then
It's
this was
Danielle Brooks.
Danielle Brooks.
Living her
No one
life,
should be comfortable at a size 14, and she's like
breaking it down.
I mean, she basically says, "Go fuck yourself," but doesn't say
Doesn't
that.
say that
Oh,
because
we
she's
can
a
curse on
lady.
this show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rodney. You can
and
say
then
that.
this is Alessandra Garcia, and she'd never be a model if it wasn't for her dad, and her dad is Andy Garcia.
Right.
Which she's kind of like, well, I think I got some of this, but from my dad, but I think I got a lot of it from my mom.
Cute.
And it's so
It's such a
cute.
great ad, and I
It's-
love that it like deals with the issues straight on. Do you know what I mean? Like
What I
boom.
love about that ad, it's like, go fuck yourself, Victoria's Secret. You know what I
Totally.
mean? It really is a really great, beautiful response to that entire. The campaign has been running for decades.
Yeah, yeah. It's
You know,
about
that's-
time that people are making clothes for us, and we can actually walk
And
into
that
stores
they,
and get them.
but also, but not just making clothes for you, but making clothes sexy for everybody. I mean, this is
Yeah.
it's a beautiful campaign, brilliantly conceived, Lane Bryant. Is this the camera I'm supposed to look at? Yes, I'm available for your next one.
Excellent.
It
And
is
Okay, because he can go out for a plus size
Yeah.
woman.
No, because I'm gonna direct it,
Oh.
and I'm gonna
He's
make
available
those
to
women fierce.
direct.
Those
Yes.
women are
He
fierce.
also choreographs, by the way. You choreographed an
did.
episode of Wilfred, and I have a special episode sketch that is like meant for you, and I can't wait.
With some
We're
ography
not
in
gonna-
there.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be ography. So another article that came on was there was this amazing comprehensive article about how even though there were more things on more runway shows had body variety than any other since
Fashion
the
Week,
time of
Fashion Week,
Fashion
yeah.
Week.
Mhm.
Yeah, that obviously there's still some more room to go, but 17 shows had plus size models in them.
Which
Yeah.
is
About time.
so amazing
It's about
because
time.
that's never happened before, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the notion of having sort of like different models or different so unconventional models, like with like designers like Jean Paul Gaultier and like Alexander McQueen, like they've always like sort of like or Cynthia Rowley, they've always looked to find like they're still like rail thin
But
and they're still like
unconventional
size.
by the way that
Yeah.
their face looks,
Yeah,
not
not
how their
their
body
body
looks.
shape.
Exactly.
And I
exactly.
learned actually once that the reason why they actually went towards rail thin girls is because they literally wanted girls to look like hangers walking
Yeah.
the clothes down, which is
yeah.
kind of crazy.
I mean, do you guys remember? Do
totally
you guys
crazy.
remember when it made like waves? I mean, like people talk about it all the time when it made waves that like had black models all of a sudden, and then
Yeah.
like just recently it was all like, ooh,
Yeah.
you guys, they have Asian models. It's like, come on, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I know
about-
there's all
There are
kinds of
Asian
people in the
people
world.
in
How
the
about we
world.
show all of
Yeah.
them?
It's
Exactly,
ridiculous.
exactly.
It's
Well, the
ridiculous.
good news is that American brands J. Crew and who was the other one? Oh, Tracy Reese have committed to not just having runway models, because that's the whole problem that we dealt with last week, is that there are people who have a plus size model as like a convention, but then don't make clothes for that person in the world.
Yeah.
So, but these two, J. Crew and Tracy Reese, are committing to size 18 and 2X clothes, which is a start. Obviously, things go above that. And, it also, I found it interesting that, plus size models only get to walk a runway after they've already cultivated their own audiences.
On Instagram,
on
social
Instagram, I have
media,
2.5 million. So now all of a sudden I can get onto a runway, where any other model in the world who's regular size, straight size, you wouldn't.
Yeah, they don't have to have a following.
No.
They don't need to have a
Well,
following.
I think it's
Not
also
at all.
like they're now for all these companies and all these ad agencies and producers and stuff like that are seeing that, hey, there's revenue to be done, and I mean that's not new. There was revenue to be there was revenue to be made,
Yeah.
for centuries, but they just never tapped into that market,
Yeah,
and now
I
they're
mean, I
seeing.
feel
Oh, you mean like the $18 billion industry of plus size clothing?
Yeah, you're welcome, everyone. We want to spend money on clothes. So there was another article that came out this week that I found really interesting about dads taking on a role in raising their kids to be aware of body positivity. So I was just wondering, and I know that your mom's still mom, right? So I was just wondering,
three.
but I also know that you really want to have kids one day, and
Absolutely.
so what things do you feel like worry you about that? I mean, some of the things in the article said, always talking about yourself in a positive way, like even as adults, like even as parents,
Yeah.
like don't check people how they look, like, oh, it looks like you're getting, some weight on your bones, you know what I mean? Like being careful with your partner too, like, and how you talk
also,
to them.
I loved what that article said about about supplementing all of that stuff. It's not like, hey, just don't let's talk about let's be positive, not just body positive, but positive about the whole picture. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
About
like
what
being positive about food.
Yes,
and all of
their
those things.
mindset, and then like, get them thinking about like their life as a whole, and not just this one sort of like thing, like not just about their body image, but how everything about them is needs to be nurtured and
complimented and
affirmed and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. I think it's. I mean, yeah, I grew up in an Asian American household, and that stuff is sort of and it sounds sort of stereotypical, but it's not necessarily. It's they're not the most demonstrative people. Culture, they can be, but the older I get, the more I'm like, yeah, I want to raise my kids knowing that there's so much more wonderful things about them than just the specific things that they see, and all they see are like images,
Exactly.
which is why it's important for
like,
all
what
this
about your ability?
Yes,
Do you know
ability,
what I mean?
and
Like,
your cognitive thinking, and your
Yes.
your ability to problem solve, and that's the little
Yeah.
huge thing.
like your
That are so
nephew,
important, yeah.
that your nephew comes home and your sister comes home and your nephew says, guess what, this is really wrong, and that he knows, like,
Yeah.
that you compliment someone's moral compass. Do you know what I mean? Like, what an awesome thing that you pointed out. You're right, that isn't something we should be mean about. Like I think that's a beautiful thing that your sister's doing. I mean, that she's raising a kid so aware, and I just as somebody who at a very young age was pointed out for being different. And, my friend Jason Soroyce just spent a whole bunch of time with me. He works for the Anti-Defamation League and works really hard to undo biases that are, in children. And he goes to schools and works on campaigns about bias, about bullying. And he said that the number one reason why kids get bullied, the first people will come for to bully is weight. Even more than being effeminate. Or having a
ethnicity.
different culture. Weight is the biggest thing. And I think it goes...
because we're taught in every media and everywhere that it's wrong, that it's bad, that it's unhealthy, that you're a horrible person, that you must be lazy, that you must be stupid, that you must
be hacking
that
into
you
the
must-
government's emails.
Well, I know that too. But also even on television, like, you must be the butt of the joke. And
Yeah.
so then that's what they're learning. They're watching television and seeing fat people being the butt of the joke. So then my friend who's fat on an elementary school playground must be also the butt of the joke, right? Because that's what I'm watching on television.
Yeah, yeah. And as men, like, raising kids, because women get it, we get the slam. Do you know what I mean? Like, boys get bullied too, but there's a time where you age out of that, right? Like, there's a time where it's okay for men to be overweight. We've talked about it. They're not getting paid any less. Donald Trump goes on a stage, certainly... a plus-size man.
Right, Chris
And
Christie can be,
Chris Christie.
right behind him,
Yeah,
totally fine.
exactly.
He's not
No
a
one
slob. He's not a
blinks.
dirty
Yeah.
pig or fat pig or Mr. Piggy or whatever. He's not any of those things.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting that can be true for guys.
Yeah. And so for men to really take care of their daughters and to really have their sons take care of girls too, and let them know that. So before we finish, you are doing something exciting at the Echo. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I'm directing a reading of a new play by Bonnie B. Alvarez, who's a very a wonderful. I hate using the word up and coming because it makes it sound like he hasn't been doing this for a long time. A wonderful playwright, a Filipino American playwright who I've worked with him a few times, and this is the first time I'm actually going to be I'm having the opportunity to direct one of his plays, a reading, and I'm excited. We have a really great cast. I can't announce it yet, and it is people you recognize from the television.
Nice, nice.
It is
And that's at the Echo Theater.
It's at the
in
Echo Theater
Atwater
Company in
Village.
Atwater Village on Wednesday, October 5th at 7:30 p.m. and it is open to the public. And I guarantee you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to want to throw things at the stage, and then you're going to want to ask for
Nice.
autographs afterwards.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you for coming by. If people
welcome.
want to follow you, he's very funny on Twitter, y'all.
I mean, the funniest.
Give lots of money to their campaign.
oh,
Give
yeah.
lots of. Ooh, look at God. Why don't I put makeup on my face?
Stop it! Body shaming, no.
Yeah, stop
Rodney,
talking negatively
Rodney.
about
Your
yourself.
eyes look horrible, Rodney. You have eyelids. This is terrible, Rodney.
Silly.
This is wonderful. This
Tell,
is a wonderful
tell us
thing
where
that.
to find you on Twitter.
This is a wonderful thing that they're doing, and you should give you should throw all your resources their way. Find me on Twitter at alecmapa.com.
No.
And you can find me in Chinatown at your nearest Chinese restaurant. No, I'm just kidding. You can find me at Twitter at @RodRedRod. I know it's so lame.
R-O-D.
Talk about porn.
E-D.
I know.
You were like making fun of our music, and
It's
we're
gonna be like working.
Rod, Red Rod. Yeah.
It's gonna be like this brings me back to my travel industry days. R red, O Oscar, D ducks, ROD.
We're gonna
RED,
retweet about him.
ROD.
Yeah,
Don't
we'll
worry.
tweet
You
him.
can find him.
Yeah, you'll find
You'll
him.
be
We'll help
lucky
you. We'll
when
help you
do.
guys. We'll help you.
And thank you for being
Thank
a
you.
part of our.
You guys,
know.
they're gonna
And
make
being-
things,
and being
it's gonna be
such-
extraordinary, and y'all are gonna be jealous you didn't get in on the ground floor.
It's
Yeah.
so true.
Yes.
And thank you for
Oh,
being one of our
thank you.
allies.
Mhm.
We
Yeah,
really
we
appreciate
really
it.
And one of these days, you guys are
appreciate
gonna
you.
have like the rent mics instead of these things. It's gonna be amazing. You're gonna be like,
No, it'll be hidden in our fierce clothes.
yeah, you can have like somebody
Yes.
being like,
It's taped in there. Just
Yeah,
tape it in.
that's awesome.
Okay, we have to go, but we'll be back with more Plus This Go-Go stuff when we return.